Thank you. I just don't know how to talk to the people who just voted for me to leave.
No, I'm dead ass. I want you to know that nothing's personal. That's just the name of it. That's what it is, bro.
I want to pretend to be shocked by the decisions that were made, but I would be lying. Really, I would be lying. As far as I'm concerned, the girls made their decision because they wanted Huda to have an option. So they voted out uh, Hannah, knowing that that would leave Pepe single, and he would have to entertain Huda because TJ had shut her down completely, regardless of the fact that Jeremiah was having a connection with the new bombshell. So I'm not buying that nonsense. And the audacity for the boys, after knowing for a fact that Hannah was being sent home, they could have easily sent Pepe home and said, you two are a couple, so we've just decided it's easier to send you as a couple. That would have made more sense. For them to stand up there and say, we looked at the long-term picture. The long-term picture is the 100K. That's all they looked at. Let's be for real. What else did they look at? He came into the villa. Ace has always had an issue with him. And so for me, sadly, Ace is no longer... Well, I didn't mind him when I saw him on social media because I came across on my For You page one of his dance videos. But sadly, the way he's moved in the villa has really put me off him. And I know he was the driving force behind the decision to send Jeremiah home. At the end of the day, let's be for real. Because once Jeremiah saw who were the people that were going to be making a decision for him to go home, he already knew he was going home. You could tell on his face he already knew who he was going home. And I'm really devastated for him and for Hannah as well that they've been sent home in such a ruthless manner just because people were selfish. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island USA, Season 7, Episode 17. I know sometimes it feels like I'm on a loop and I'm repeating the same thing over and over again, but people like Huda, I don't even know where to start. Huda, for me, is self-centered. I'm going to repeat. I'm going to explain why, actually not repeat. Because when she was with Jeremiah, she kept complaining bitterly about how badly he treated her, how she had things that she wanted from a relationship, and she felt like, she wasn't getting from him. And then when she had this situation with Olandria, she almost labeled Olandria a bully and sort of put across how she felt Olandria treated her and how Olandria, had made her feel in that aspect. So you see her sit down for a conversation with Shirley and Sierra, and she's complaining that, I feel some type of way because you called my name out in the challenge. And it's like, but Huda, you are the one who was causing mayhem last week. You are the one that made everybody, not just your ex-partner, but everybody in the villa miserable. Everybody walk on pins and needles because you were creating havoc and you were swearing and everybody had to pacify you. And so for you to suddenly be offended that you're being called out on your behavior doesn't make sense when you like to call out other people. You have to take constructive feedback. You have to accept it for what it is and keep it stepping. There's no reason why everybody else should walk on eggshells around you just because they don't want to upset you. Yes, you've been behaving inappropriately. The girls have told you how they feel. For you to now guilt them and say, I have trust issues, I don't trust a lot of people, you people are my friends, yes, they are your friends. Yes, they've supported you. But what are you to them? How are you supporting them? I don't get it and I don't like it. And I wish people would sit her down and actually give her a dose of the truth. The problem with her, I feel if they gave her a dose of the truth, she would end up saying that they are the villains in her story. Because she said her friends are Sierra, Olandria, and Shirley. She left out Hannah, and yet Hannah's been the one who's been running behind her and consoling her. So the audacity and the idea that she didn't see that doesn't make sense to me. You have Jeremiah go for a chat with Iris. I love that they're both in the same headspace. They both agree that they're only friends. And this is what I think. I think Iris came in at a time where Jeremiah needed someone to have his back. And she decided to be that shoulder for him to help him ride the wave of emotion that he was on, the roller coaster. And she sort of put herself out there to help, not rescue him, but sort of help guide him away from Huda. And so now that they've reached this space where he's able to be himself. This is why they've realized that no, actually, romantically, there's nothing there. There is a friendship because we've been through a battle together, but there is nothing romantic there. I love that they confided in each other. Oh, I kissed Andriana. I kissed TJ. That was really cute. That was really cute to see how open they were, and the fact that they've agreed that they're friends and they will confide in one another. They will keep each other's secrets close. This was amazing. I love this for them, and I love how peaceful it was. Poor, 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 poor Amaya. So Amaya has a conversation with Olandria because she feels some type of way. The way she was treated by Ace wasn't the best. You know, how he kept calling her, don't call me this, don't say that. And he was hypercritical of her. So now she's in a couple with Austin. She's noticing exactly the same issues she had with Ace are the same issues she's having with Austin, which was really sad that it seems she's someone who, when she falls in love hard. And sadly for her, after going through whatever she went through with Ace, she felt she had finally found her space in a couple with someone. And Austin is not feeling that. And so for him to make faces and stuff, it's like, so why did you pick her at recoupling? Why didn't you allow her to go home? Make it make sense. I don't get it and I don't like it. And it's really sad that because she wears a heart on her sleeve, people can take that for granted and do whatever they want. You have Nick and Sierra sit down for a conversation and they're sort of discussing their connection, where they are and what's happening. Sadly for Love Island, this is my thing. Having sex is a curse, it seems, this season. Because every couple that's had sex, they end up having issues. Because we had, who did we have? Huda and Jeremiah were the first ones, and here they are in Splitsville. We had Pepe and Hannah, and then they came in Huda because she then decided to explore a connection with Pepe, and now we're having the same thing happen to Sierra and Nick. This is what I think. I think Nick likes the idea of exploring connections, not because he's serious, but just because he likes to explore connections. He told Andriana that he is in a couple with Sierra, things are going great. So the fact that he didn't tell Sierra the same thing is really bad because Sierra has shut down a lot of doors saying that she's found her person. So if he hasn't found, if he feels she's not his person, he needs to tell her. He needs to tell her and stop wasting her time and allow her to keep it stepping and allow her to find her person instead of wasting her time, sort of going round in circles with him when he's really not there. And sadly for him, if he messes about, production's going to bring in someone who's going to break them apart. Part of me believes that this is his ploy, that he doesn't want production to bring in anyone, so he wants to seem as though he's unsure, because the moment you seem set in your couple, the moment you seem peaceful in your couple, production will bring in your type. This is what they did to Hannah and Charlie, and I have a feeling if Nick and Sierra continue to be stable, they're going to bring in someone exactly for Nick. So you have Ace go and sit down with Shirley and they're talking, and he sort of lifts her on the sand. This is what I think. Ace is playing a role. He is playing a role. He is trying to con us, because at the end of the day, the way he suddenly so smitten with Shirley, we all saw his reaction when he saw Andriana. So the idea that he's got over that and he's suddenly back on the Shirley train, I'm not buying it. I feel like he's come in with this plan in place, and as soon as he realized Shelley was there, he had it in motion. So this is why he stayed away from her for a bit, sort of making it seem like he's sort of assessing that connection to see how far that will go. I am not buying whatever he's trying to sell us. Sadly, Shirley is buying it, and why she's felt comfortable with him when he hasn't treated her the best doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to someone like me. So I hope somebody else comes in for Shirley. I really do. I think Ace is too immature. I think he's there to play games. I think he's now going to pretend to be happily in love and be the wise man of the villa, which I am not buying. I am not buying, and I don't know why he thinks viewers would buy that. You have the islanders get ready for the night. Sierra is in her feelings because of the conversation she's had with Nick. She feels some type of way. Everyone was trying to ask her what's going on, and she wouldn't say anything. With the guys, they're having a conversation. Nick reveals that, Sierra is upset because of the conversation that they had, but he said he's open. And it's like, yes, you're open, but let her know how you feel about her, even though you're open. Are you open as in you're not happy in your couple at all, or are you open because this is what the process entails? I didn't like that. I really didn't like it. Austin is in the bedroom. He's complaining bitterly that, how can someone be all about him within 2 days? He feels some type of way about Amaya saying she really likes him. And it's like, well, if you're not happy with Amaya, pack your bag and go home because you have no other option in the villa. Pack your bag, go home. No one is keeping you back. In the morning, as soon as the lights go on, Sierra walks out because the night before Nick tried to cuddle her and she said, "No, I'm too hot," and then he had to move away. So in the morning, she just packed, jumped out of bed, and by the time Nick rolled round, she was gone. In the changing room, the girls are getting ready, and still you can see that Sierra is still not over whatever issues she has with Nick. Breakfast comes first. You have TJ. He brings coffees for the girls, and as soon as Nick brings up Sierra's breakfast, he takes away the cup of coffee, the cup of tea. Nick is not playing. He really is not playing, and it's just the most funniest thing ever. You have heard her sitting down for a conversation with Taylor and Olandria. I don't understand that group, that trio. I really don't get it because at the end of the day, Taylor seems more interested in Huda's business than he is in his own partner. So they're talking about, TJ and how his connection is going, whether Huda is connecting with him or whether she sees potential there. And Huda says, I felt the conversation went great, so I can see something there. And it's like, I truly believe no guy is going to come into the villa and sort of go for Huda unless there's no other option and unless it's a strategic move and they feel that this is the only way they can stay in the villa. That's the impression that I get. She might be lucky in Casa, but I don't know whether any of the bombshells is going to sort of come in and beeline for her, given how she crashed out with the Jeremiah situation. Obviously, you have Huda sort of trying to bring up Jeremiah, and Taylor's constantly saying, I don't want to hear about it. We do not want to hear about it. Don't bring him up. And it's like, they make him out to be the bad guy when Hoda was calling him names and doing everything she did. Had he behaved the same way, would we all be sitting here and comforting her? You have Ace and Nick sit down for a conversation. Nick is sort of confused because he doesn't understand why Sierra's upset. Sierra's on the terrace with Shirley. She's upset as well because she feels, she might be more invested in the relationship than Nick is. And Nick is saying, but I'm open. I've always told her that I'm open, so I don't understand why she's upset. And it's like, it's not the fact that you're open. It's the fact that you said you could see yourself in another couple. This is what upset her, especially after you had sex. Yes, Ace is right to say sex complicates things, but still at the same time, if I were the friend, I would have told him, you need to go back to Sierra and you need to comfort her and reassure her in regards where she stands when it comes to you two as a couple. But I didn't hear that from Ace. I really didn't. So I don't know how much longer Nick is going to sort of carry on with this. And it was surprising that when they went to get their drinks, she suddenly hugged with Nick and she was saying to Nick, oh, I missed you. And it's like, we're missing something. You have Austin cleaning the pool, and Amaya is flirting up a storm, and he is ignoring her, which is really sad. I don't know why the guys are not telling her what he's saying behind her back. I wish somebody had had the guts to sort of say to her, just be mindful of what you say, because he's complaining that he doesn't like the fact that you're more or less throwing yourself at him. TJ went for a chat to the terrace with Iris. They make a cute couple. They could be boring, but they make a cute couple. I don't know whether they will stay together as a connection. I think Iris might have been better off staying with Jeremiah. Sadly, there was no romantic connection there. But I think TJ, if somebody else comes in, his head is going to be turned because Iris comes across as too mellow for him. The girls get ready for the night and they're talking about their connections. Everybody's happy about their couple at the moment, but Sierra's unhappy because she feels things are not going the way she wanted them to go. The girls come down, the guys pick them up and they go for their drinks. You have Hannah and Pepe sitting down for a conversation. Well, the problem with Hannah is in the ladies in the changing room, she was saying she still misses Charlie, which makes sense because she had a very good thing going with Charlie. But she says it seems Pepe has managed to bring out the mature side of her. So they're busy sitting there with Pepe and they're flirting. They're talking about things that they will do with the girls once they leave the villa. And I don't know. I still feel like it was more of physical attraction, and with time that's going to wear off, especially if Adriana stays in the villa. So I don't know. I really don't know. I can't wait to see what happens there. You have Taylor and Olandria go for a drink. That was a sad moment, in my opinion, in the sense that she is doing all these things for this man, and this man is doing the bare minimum for her. He's doing the bare minimum. And so the idea that she continues to sort of put herself out there for this man who we are not sure whether he is feeling romantically, I don't get. They were talking about their connection. They spoke about, well, he spoke about his granddad, and because they were speaking about fruits and what's her favorite fruit. I really am not happy for Shirley and Olandria to be with Ace and Taylor, because to me, Ace and Taylor seem very strategic. They seem like they are looking at the 100K, and that's all they're focused on. So they're going to tell these girls what they feel they want to hear. They're going to do anything that allows these girls to feel stable and safe in their couplings. That way they don't dump them. But I don't think romantically there will be something there, unless the edit is not showing us the true connection. Because I don't want to believe that Olandria is that delusional, that she continues to put up with someone who is not feeling her, someone who's behaving in the way that he behaved when he kissed her. Instead of having a passionate kiss, he goes, "Mwah," like he's a little kid. This is not the first time he's made a mockery of a kiss. They kissed in the booth, he made a mockery of that. And so for me personally, I still believe this man is not romantically attracted to his partner, but he will say and do anything to stay in the villa. So you have Jeremiah and Andrea sitting down for a conversation. They're really cute. I like how giddy they come across. I like how excited they were to sort of see one another. And so it was the cutest thing ever to see them sort of just having this conversation, and Jeremiah appearing very smitten, very smitten. I think if you were to place both girls side by side, he would have preferred Andrea because she seems the calmer side of the equation. She doesn't seem like she's very sort of, she's likely to go off like her dead. And I was side eyeing the guy sitting in the other corner because I didn't quite understand why that conversation was taking place. I felt it was very calculated and very disrespectful. And I feel like it was being driven by Ace because you had Ace, Nick, Taylor, and Pepe sort of sitting and having a conversation. And you already had Ace starting to criticize, Jeremiah, that why is he sort of, with this girl, I can already see that he's love bombing her. He came in, this is my opinion, Ace came in with the intention of winning, and he was going to remove anybody he felt was competition, even those he considers to be friends. And sadly for Jeremiah, he refused to be a minion to Ace, and this is why he was marked for dumping, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, the islanders receive a text message to gather around the fire pit. They gather around the fire pit. But before they went to the fire pit, you had Jeremiah and Andrea kiss because he was saying to her, "It's a pity we're in public." Well, she said, "It's a pity we have everyone looking at us, otherwise we'd have shared a kiss." And he said, "What's to stop us?" So she kissed him, and then they sort of, the message came in for the islanders to gather around the fire pit. When they gathered at the fire pit, they were informed that, the public has been voting, and, they've been choosing their favorite girl and favorite boy. And it's like, oh my God, it's about to be messy. Somebody's about to have a big ego here because they're going to think they're the favorite. Anyway, so the girls are asked to stand up first, and then messages come round to be read for who got saved first. The first girl saved was Alandria, and then you had Sierra, you had Shirley, and then lastly you had Huda. The boys stood up. You had Taylor be saved first, Nick, and then Ace, and you knew it was about to be messy because I don't understand. Oh, by the way, there are more girls than boys. So once that happened, you had 6 people standing. So you had Amaya, Iris and Hannah, and then you had Pepe, Jeremiah, and Austin. And already you could tell Amaya was crying, I think, because she thought she was going home because she's not in a romantic couple. And the islanders found out that they would be making the decision of who went home and who stayed. And you knew it was about to be messy. It was about to be messy because there's no justification for the decision that was made. For the girls, I feel like the girls decided to vote to send Hannah home so that Huda could have a chance because TJ had already shut her down. I think had TJ not shut her down, they would not have sent Hannah home. But because TJ shut her down, they had to send Hannah home in order for Pepe to be single. And for the boys, I was surprised because the boys said, "Oh, that's the last person we expected." And having seen that Hannah was going home, I don't understand why they didn't pivot. Seriously, I don't get it. I don't understand why they didn't pivot and send Pepe home. That way, a couple would have been sent home instead of sending two random people. Because once you had the bottom six revealed, you had the bombshell sort of saying, "Oh, we hope our people that we've connected with don't go home." And so when Hannah was saved, TJ was happy because his couple was going to be secure. But then for Andriana, she then had to sit there and hear the boys give, "Oh, we looked at the long picture, the long term, and we looked at how that person has moved in the villa, and so we've decided to go with Jeremiah." Jeremiah knew it was crap. Jeremiah knew it was crap because of the fact that once the boys sat down, he already knew that he was going home. Once he realized the three boys were going to make a decision for him, because even if Nick had fought for his corner, there was no way Nick was going to outmaneuver Ace and Taylor because that was already two votes and he would be outnumbered. So when Hannah was voted, you could tell that, Jeremiah sort of sighed a slight sigh of relief because he thought they were going to send the couple home. And when they sent Jeremiah home, everybody didn't understand. Well, the islanders that were standing up didn't understand. Even the bombshells didn't understand that. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. How did we get to this decision? And for the boys, once they started packing, for them to say, "Oh, we're so sorry. It wasn't anything personal." It was personal. It was personal. From day one, you didn't like him, and you've been looking for excuses to paint him up to be the bad guy. And I hope when he goes out and he has his interviews, I hope Jeremiah tells the truth or his truth of what exactly was going on in the villa, because they made him uncomfortable. They made him miserable, only for them to turn around and make it seem like, he was the villain. He's not the villain in anyone's story. He didn't force Hannah to behave the way she behaved. She had the power to sort of control her emotions and contain herself. So the idea that she behaved like that and then they reward her by keeping her in the villa doesn't make sense. You had heard her go and pull him for a chat, and it's like, why is she pulling him for a chat? I think this is what I think. I think she expected Jeremiah to come back begging for her because she said, "I thought we were always going to end up together." How are you going to end up together? How? When you called him every dirty thing under the sun, every derogatory term you could think of. What made you feel like she was going to, he was going to take you back? I don't get it. And so when she hugged him a couple of times, I think she expected him to kiss her, and then she ended up saying, "Oh, can I kiss you on the cheek?" And it's like, you're doing a bit too much. I think he needs to shut that door completely. Even when they leave the villa, he needs to let her know that the door is closed completely and there's no coming back. The girls tried to speak to Hannah, and Hannah was like, "I don't know how to speak to you when you've just voted me to go home," because it's terrible. You can't vote someone to go home without a justifiable reason, and then say, "Oh, we're sisters, blah blah blah. Oh, we had an amazing time." No, keep your comments. Tell me later. At the moment, I am in my feelings. It was really sad, and then she had to spend time with Pepe, and she was crying. He has been saved in order for Huda to stay in the villa. That's the impression that I get. He has been saved in order for Huda to stay in the villa. Because if they wanted to go by public vote, they should have gone by public vote. They shouldn't have gone by what the islanders thought, and Jeremiah might have stood a chance because he would have stood a chance with the girl that he really liked. But anyway, I am devastated that they've both gone home. I don't think they deserve to go home. I think there are people in the villa that did deserve to go home, but I don't think Jeremiah, neither Hannah deserve to go home. And it's really sad. Apparently, Casa Amor starts tomorrow, so I can't wait to see what happens in Casa. It's really sad that they didn't get to stay till Casa for us to see how they would behave. And I want to see how those holier than thou that called out Jeremiah during Casa or are going to behave in casa. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 16. Bye guys. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 16. Bye guys.